this evening of your time as you create time to exist. Allow us to begin this interaction, this evening of your time, with an exchange of a few ideas that are all, if you wish, to be labeled under the title tools. Tools are what in general we will be discussing within each and any sharing or question or discussion we have this evening of your time. Tools. The basic tools by which you, each and every one of you individually, and all of you together, collectively, can learn how to create the lives you prefer to create. This is what any discussion between our society and your society always, as you say, boils down to. The recognition that there are very few simple tools that you can utilize in your day-to-day experiential life, by which you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are A, in control of your life, and B, can choose to create the life you desire, the life you prefer, because you all create your own reality. If this is a concept that is unfamiliar to some of you, we will discuss this briefly as well. The idea simply is that you are the sole individual responsible for all that you experience in what you call your day-to-day physical life, for all that you perceive your reality to be. Your own scientists at this time in your history are beginning to realize that there really is no separate physical reality aside from what you perceive it to be, and that your perception in and of itself is what creates the reality you experience. There is no way for you to know otherwise anyway, because anything you could perceive will by definition be a subjective perception. There is no true objectivity. You can have an objectified approach, an open mind, a balanced attitude. But anything you perceive is your perception, and is going to be colored by your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, what you have been taught the reality of your world is all about. What you have been taught to agree with and disagree with. Now, we are talking about something that is more than just a philosophy. We are speaking about an actual, literal mechanism. You, as the perceiver of your reality, are actually the creator of your reality. Because it is only what you believe it to be, what you think it to be, what you feel it to be, what you imagine it to be. There is no distinct reality that you have a perception of that is perhaps different than someone else's perception of it. Your perception and their perception are, in and of themselves, the literal reality you are experiencing. Reality is only the perception, the interaction itself between the observer and the observed. The observer and the observed are side effects, if you will, of the observation, which is the only real reality. That which is in the center of all dichotomy, all polarity, positive, negative. All polarity is a side effect of the quote-unquote true reality in the center, which is always both the opposite, and in a sense sometimes more than that. But the idea is that the interaction itself is what you really are. You are not so much exactly the person doing the perceiving, nor is the reality the thing that you are perceiving. The reality is the perception, the act of perception itself. For you, in that sense, as you understand in your biblical literature, are made in the image of God, as you say. Now, what does this mean? To be made in the image of the infinite creation. Well, to be made from our perspective in the image of infinite creation means you yourselves must be infinite creators, multidimensional creators. In other words, as you think, so you create. Your very thoughts are things themselves. and you have created on your physiological earth a particular type of reality that you can call the illusion of separate physical reality. There is no separate physical reality except that which you believe to be true. Physical reality is actually, very really, made of you, made of your thoughts, of your consciousness, made out of the very energy that you are as a consciousness. So every time you change the idea you are, every time you change your thought, you literally change physical reality, and that's what creates the apparency of space and time. For they are real while you are in it, but time and space are your illusions as well. The idea simply is that as you limit your focus to a particular set of awarenesses, then you create a need to segregate different expressions, different ideas, one from the other, so that you can tell them apart. This is the very definition of physical reality, of you as a consciousness behaving as a physical reality. Creating compartments within your consciousness to keep all the different concepts separated from each other so that you can experience the idea of one at a time. Before, middle, after, ago, now, then, past, present, future. All of these linear time concepts are simply one way to perceive the consciousness that you are. By far it is not the only way, and there are many levels of consciousness that have no awareness of the concept of time and space at all. They recognize themselves to be, literally, be the dimension that you would say they existed within. And this is one of the changes that is going on now upon your planet. The recognition that your physical reality is not something that you actually exist within, but that your physical reality is literally you. It is a projection of an idea of the consciousness that you are. And so powerful a multidimensional creator are you all, individually and collectively, that you can create the illusion that the physical reality experience that you are is actually separate from yourself. But we can begin this evening of your time in discussing these tools that we mentioned, these pragmatic step-by-step techniques and exercises and awarenesses of self. You can begin to show yourself in no uncertain terms, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you actually utterly create your physical reality. For the tools we will be discussing will put you squarely in touch with the fact that you are always creating your reality. We'll show you how you can create the reality you prefer to create, and by doing that, you will see the feedback that will be the result of the changes that go on in your thoughts, in your beliefs, in your feelings. And when you see those changes as they correspond to your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs, then you will know, as surely as you look in a mirror and see your own reflection, that your reality, which you have for so long thought to be outside of you, is actually within you. And that any time you see anything, anywhere, anywhen, you are only looking in a mirror at another version of you. You all follow along so far? At this timing, allow us to extend to each and every one of you our deepest and heartfelt appreciation and unconditional love in your willingness to co-create with us this day of your time, this interaction. Your willingness to function as ambassadors, literally, of your world, because that is what you are in this interaction. And allowing me to function as an ambassador of my world, so that through these interactions, bit by bit, day by day, we will together grow closer and create an atmosphere that will allow and become more conducive in allowing your society and our collective multi-world societies to begin to interact more and more face-to-face in blatant ways. This will be allowed when you allow yourselves to truly be equal to all ideas, all situations, all circumstances, all ideas and beings and experiences of reality. Equal among yourselves, sharing, growing in harmonious ways. Now we perceive that your energy is changing rapidly in this transformational age upon your planet. And we perceive at this time that within what you call a maximum of 3 of your decades, there will be very blatant interactions between your society and many of ours. And some of these interactions can begin much sooner than that. It is completely up to you. We are absolutely non-invasive. It is your world. We cannot interfere in the way you choose your world to be. We can assist you. We can recommend, in a sense, suggest a way that you can allow your world to be, which is conducive to allowing us to interact with you. But you do not have to choose it. You do not have to listen to us just because we are who we say we are. It is completely up to you. This whole interaction, as you say, bottom line, is for the purpose of allowing us to remind each and every one of you that you have the power to create your life. Don't give it to me. I have enough of my own. I do not need yours. So the whole idea is to allow you to be equal to us, equal to each other, so that together we can share, explore, enjoy the universe ecstatically forever. That is our desire, to share with you. For you are a gift to us. You allow us to see that many more ways through each and every one of you that the infinite creation has of expressing itself within the creation that it is. For this gift, we thank you. And in return for this gift, I ask you now, how may I serve you? Yes, you, and then you.
I'd like to know about the tools to use, and I'll try to use some of your words, Stephen. The tools to use in creating my own reality. When I am involved with another person who is coming from a place, an energy or a life of the mind, who is the most ethereal person I have ever met, and I'm coming from, let's say, the denser level, and I am beginning to raise my levels up through my spiritualism, it's very new for me.
Not really.
Well, I'm remembering slowly.
Yes.
And
you are remembering at an absolutely perfect rate for you.
Wonderful.
No need to judge yourself. Slow, fast. It is the judgments which make it seem to take longer, not the actual activity. You understand?
Yes.
It is the invalidations of yourselves, always, that create more time. You are not moving slowly. You are not moving fast. You are moving exactly at the rate you need to be for who you are at this given moment. If you change the idea of yourself in the next moment, you will move at a different rate that is absolutely representative of who you are at that moment. It will not be better or worse. It will simply be different. Now, let us remind you before you go on that when you see someone in your life that represents something you desire to be, remember that because you can attract them and have attracted them into your life, it must already be on some level representative of who you are, or you would not have attracted them. Like attracts like. So you can take it for granted that if you can experience that in your reality, and if it is something you prefer, then it must already be an indication of your ability to be that way. And the only thing, quote-unquote, standing in your way is your assumption that you are not yet that way. By making a comparison of invalidation rather than a comparison of like vibration. Understand? Is this making any sense? Is it assisting you?
Yes.
Anything else?
Well, in exploring each other on a professional level,
Yes.
or perhaps being connected in healing purposes or teaching together.
Is that a question?
No, not yet. Will we be able to explore deeper intimacies together? Because there are some irritations in the way we interact that...
Are you allowing the relationship to be what it is rather than what you think it should be?
I'm trying to.
Trying? Do you trust that the relationship is there for a reason?
Yes.
Are you sure? then why do you have to try to let it be what it is? If you really trust that it is there for a reason, let it be what it is, because all those reasons must serve your purpose, or you wouldn't be in the relationship. Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, no, maybe.
All right, fair enough.
In planning my professional involvement with this person, I'm concerned about the relationship that the irritations of our differences would prevent us from working together smoothly. And what I'm asking is for tools in trying to explore each other and extend to each other in a loving way.
We are giving you those tools, but we are giving you the simplest tools possible. There is no need for these tools to be complex. Now, processes we can recommend, but we have already recommended one right now. The idea, first and foremost, of allowing yourself to realize that any interaction, any relationship, and this goes for any of you, that you draw yourselves into must be a part of your life, or it wouldn't be there. So first and foremost, recognize that in that sense, because you are together, at least for now, you belong together, at least for now. The idea is always as follows. Be who you are fully. If you are willing to be who you are with integrity fully, then you are giving the other individual the best opportunity to be who they are fully. And in being who you are together fully, the relationship will automatically work out as it needs to. And there isn't need to cast an assumption that things do not change, should not change, for change is the only constant in the universe. Let them change in the way they need to change, knowing that all the changes, in some way, shape, or form, benefit the things you each need to get out of that relationship to learn about yourselves, to integrate within yourselves, to grow and expand in the way you really want to. If you simply recognize in any relationship that another individual is a vibration that you do not prefer, then you will automatically go your separate ways, since in that sense, unlike vibrations will repel each other. But this does not mean it has to be a repulsion of conflict, of friction, of negativity. It can simply be a recognition of what you are and what you are not. Understand?
Yes.
So, assume that if you are in the relationship, that it serves a purpose. First of all, that is step number one. That it fulfills your purpose, or you wouldn't be in it. Understand? Then, allow yourself to fully be who you are. Not who you think you should be, not who they think you should be. Allow them to be who they are, not who you think they should be. You follow me? That is step number two. Then ask yourself, what am I learning about myself by being in this relationship with the individual the way they are? That's step number three. What is it you are learning about yourself within that relationship? Then you will understand why you are in it. Then you will understand how it might or might not change in certain ways to allow you to continue to learn what you need to learn. But any changes that occur, if you are being fully who you are the changes that need to occur. And they do not have to be assumed that they will be friction-oriented changes. Because everything automatically falls into place when you trust that it is there for a reason, a positive reason. Understand? Is any of this assisting you? Does that work for you? Can you relax into the relationship and let it be what it is?
Yes.
And can you be yourself in the relationship? Trusting that if being you means that the other individual needs to vibrate out of your reality, that whoever does represent your vibration will vibrate in. So you won't care who it is because they will feel correct. Understand? And even if it is the same physical person, if they change to match your vibration, it really isn't the same person anyway. Really not the same person. Because a personality, a persona, is not who or what you are. It is an artificial construct of your consciousness to represent an idea you are being at any given moment. So when you change the idea that you are, you change your personality. And you literally, I am not speaking philosophically, literally become another person. Literally. You may look the same to all the individuals, or actually you may not. For as you change yourself in very radical ways, sometimes other individuals will notice the change even in your physiological structure. So recognize that any change of idea, any change of thought, creates you to be literally a different person. And you will always attract, and can only attract, those that are of like vibration. Does that assist you? Thank you very much, number 2.
Okay, I have a couple.
Speak up. Be bold. Share with all. Everyone can learn from every single thing any of you have to say. There are no boring situations, only bored minds. So if someone thinks, oh, this has nothing to do with me, then they are not realizing that there are no accidents. And anything you are in a group to overhear, yes, it may have a relative degree of significance, but it is there for a reason. You are hearing it for a reason. It would be in your own best interest to pay attention to what anyone has to say, because there can be something within it, if you apply it in your own way, shape, or form, that can assist you as well. So be bold and share so all can hear and apply accordingly. Thank you.
I saw a being when I was swimming in my parents' pool. He looked Egyptian.
All right.
And I was wondering if this being was a past life of mine.
It is a past association that now may function for you as an energy guide. Especially if you are in water where you are very relaxed. Many of you may have already discovered that your pools and even what you call your shower cubicles are excellent meditation chambers. The running water will put you in the actual appropriate centered state of meditation to receive almost any type of information you desire. And so you can connect and extend your senses to different levels of spirituality. Very easily. Different levels of energy, of consciousness. So that is simply, in a sense, an energy guide. It is an associate to some degree of your own. It does represent some past life attachments, but in that sense it is more of a guide for you.
The other one is, I've been hearing rumors that Shasta Mountain is going to be closed as an inner retreat. Is that true?
You can more easily find out by asking around on your own planet.
I have, and they say it's been closed.
There are certain areas that will remain accessible. And allow yourself to understand that the energy vortex of that area spans a far greater range than specifically just the mountain. And anywhere you are within what you call visual range of it, you will be within range of the energy. Understand? Does that answer your question? Thank you very much. Yes.
I have a question related to, well, actually from time to time I experience a reality that I don't necessarily prefer in being.
All right.
Being that it seems it's easier for me to get rid of positive thoughts in my mind than negative thoughts. And tying in with that, it seems that negativity has a tendency to manifest itself faster than positive thoughts.
That is only because of the habits you have been taught in your society. To believe that the negativity is, in a sense, more likely than the positive reality. It is simply habitual ritual. That is all there is to it. Let me point out a few examples. Happily ever after. Fairy tale, not real life. Too good to be true. Too simple to be true. No pain, no gain. Now, with belief systems like that repeated to you over and over and over and over again, is it any surprise that the negative reality will seem to be more likely than the positive one? You do not believe that positive reality is as valid as the negative. You do not think it is realistic. You think that to believe that positive reality is the only reality you will experience is naive, childish. Oh, grow up, face reality, many of you say. Nothing good lasts forever. Well, if it's too good to last, yes, something has to go wrong sometime. You have been indoctrinated with these beliefs since you were a child. What do you expect? Now, the way you can easily transform this idea, not get rid of, because there is nowhere to get rid of anything to. And you never can get rid of anything, you can only change it. So the way most easily to transform the negative energy into positive manifestation is to first and foremost realize that these are only habitual ways of thinking. And that in and of themselves there is absolutely nothing inherent or intrinsic about negativity having to occur more often than positive reality. Nothing says that one side is tipped in one particular direction more than another, except your belief. And it is always your belief, which can also be translated out to your strongest fear, that a certain thing might happen more likely than another thing, and that is what will usually attract it to you. Understand? So first of all, if you recognize that it is a habit, then you can also start to generate within yourself a new belief, a new habit, that any time you recognize an old habit for a habit, it is no longer a habit. And if you keep doing it, then it's just an excuse, not a habit.
Because, speaking for myself, the constant bombardment that you have from the society, from our society, that basically funnels us into those types of really restricted thoughts. What's a good idea, or what's a good method for avoiding that type of, because we're exposed to it on a daily basis.
How about don't pay attention to it?
Yeah, I think that's a good rule for living, but on a realistic.
Oh, here we go. Not realistic enough. Too simple. Oh, Bashar, that's too simple to be realistic.
All right. Will there be a point, or is there actually a point that we can come to where there aren't so many moving parts and there aren't so many tools, and you can just take thought to reality?
That point is right now, if you wish it to be. If you wish it to be. Now, you see, the idea all has to do with your own threshold of believability. And this is something you can all use as a measuring device for almost anything. Let's say now you are, to use your reference, talking about a time when you think in your life the idea of positive reality will be able to be manifested more often than negative reality. Now, let me just ask you a few questions. Answer as honestly and as quickly as you can, all right? Now, do you believe, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that in your own spiritual growth and your own investigations and your research and your expansion of knowledge, that within what you call 10 years of your time, you will have been able to allow yourself to create more positive than negative reality? Do you think 10 years of your time is enough for you to learn how to do that?
Yes.
Absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt?
Yes.
5 years?
Yes.
1 year?
Now?
Right now?
Yes, I believe so.
Are you sure now? Want you to be sure.
Yes, I'm sure.
1 year you think is enough? 6 months?
Pushing it.
Then allow yourself to realize how very accurate that is as a barometer of your threshold of believability. Wherever it starts to falter or waver or doubt starts to creep in, for right now, that is a precise indication of how long it will take you before you will allow that to happen. Now, once you find where that threshold falls, your awareness of that threshold now can actually transform it to take less time. Because now you're aware of what your belief is, and now you can examine it. Now you can say, Why do I believe that I can do it in a year, but I can't do it in 6 months? Why do I believe that? Now you can start to explore the definitions you have about time and the things that take time and the processes you think you have to go through in order for it to take that much time. Now you can explore it. Now you can decide whether you really prefer the processes that will make it take that much time, or whether you can say, well, I really don't need to go through that process, so now let's see. If I now know I don't have to go through that process, do I believe it will take 8 months? Well, yes, I think I actually do. What about 7 months? No problem. 6 months? Again, no problem. Oh, goody. 5 months? Easy. 4 months? 3 months? No. All right. I have found my threshold of believability again. Now what beliefs would I have to have in order for me not to be able to manifest instantaneous creation any sooner than 3 months of my time? Then examine those beliefs. Find out what processes you think you have to go through in order to create the reality you desire. And the more you examine these ideas and get in touch with the beliefs you have, then you can redefine those beliefs. And as you redefine them, you will change your experiential reality. Because your physical reality is absolutely the product of what you believe it to be. And you can prove it to yourself very easily. Is this assisting?
It sure is, and I will be. And I know everybody else wants to get involved, but I just wanted to say that it seems that I'm somehow waiting for some kind of a, feeling or emotional type of a change to take place.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking that thought to reality.
Yes.
I don't feel like I'm getting that. That's
I understand.
That's what I'm missing.
But that's because you are not creating the reality that can generate those emotions. You see, all emotions are reactions to something you already believe to be true. So in order to have a different feeling, you have to change the belief first. You may think the feelings you have and the experiences you have generate the belief, but it's the other way around. You have, once again, all been brought up to think seeing is believing. It is believing is seeing. Just the opposite. But because many of your beliefs are unconscious, then you do not allow yourself to know you have the belief until you have the feeling or until you have an experience. Some of you will then use an experience so that you will have a feeling about the experience so that then you will be able to understand what you believe to begin with that has created the experience that gave you the feeling that pointed out the belief you had. But because you do not understand that you are in touch with your unconscious mind, because you create a portion of your consciousness to be unconscious, then many of you do not understand that the experience and the feeling are extremely secondary reactions to a belief that already exists. But the experience and the feeling is there to show you what the belief is you have, so that if you don't prefer it, you can change it. The experiences in your lives and the feelings you have are not there to show you your stuff. It's not there to show you that you're a failure. It's there to show you, hey, this is what you believe, because this is what you got. This is what you're feeling. Do you prefer this belief? Yes or no? If no, then because you had the experience and because you had the feeling, now you know what the belief is. Change the definition of the belief. You will change the experience and you will change the feeling. It is simply that many of you think you have to have a reason before you will have an effect. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. I refuse to be happy until I have a darn good reason to be happy, many of you say. So I will search and search and search throughout all my life, looking for a good reason to be happy, and I refuse to be happy until I find it. However, if many of you would simply stop and realize that there really is no reason why you simply can't choose to be happy, because that's what you prefer, then you will create an effect in your life. And since nature will not allow there to be a vacuum in creation, if you create an effect, it has to supply you with a cause for the effect you have created. The cause does not have to come first, because cause and effect are the same event. and they must occur together. They must. And you can work it backwards. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. Create the effect in your life you prefer, and you will automatically place yourself in the vibratory state to attract all the circumstances, causes, to reinforce, bolster up, and accelerate the effect you have created. Simple physics, simple mechanics. Keep it simple. It always works. It never doesn't work, and there are no exceptions, not even you. Do you understand what we are saying?
Thank you very much.
Can you apply that?
I think I can.
Well, thank you very much. You!
Sure, I have a desire and to develop my ability for telepathic communication.
All right.
Now, you've already given me one tool just now.
Yes.
I would like to know other tools to accelerate.
The simplest tool possible. Love. Because telepathy is actually telempathy. You see, no one is actually reading each other's minds. What you are doing when you experience psychic manifestation or telepathy is you are identifying with someone so strongly that you operate on the same frequency that they do, so you interpret creation in the same modality. You create the same thoughts out of the primal energy of creation that they do. You parallel their vibration. Strong identification with another individual is called unconditional love. That is how you can be telepathic. Do you not all recognize that the individuals in your society that almost always seem to know each other's thoughts are those that are in love? That's why. Because they identify with each other so strongly that they, in that sense, truly create the same thought synchronistically at the same time. They know what each other is thinking because they are thinking the same way. That is love. That's all there is to it. More willingness to love unconditionally and grant absolute validity and equality to all other beings will allow you to become extremely sensitized telepathically. Understand?
I believe I understand that that's what you're saying. Let me verbalize.
Oh, right, you go right ahead. Thank you.
Is by loving all of humanity
Yes.
deeply
Yes.
and unconditionally without judgment,
Yes.
then I will have
You will become empathic.
empathic with all of humanity.
Yes.
And also with your civilization, our brothers and sisters.
Why not? Don't forget the system.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much. You, and then you, and then you. Hey.
Do you have any suggestions for participating in the harmonic conversion?
Can you all hear that? No. Oh, thank you. Any suggestions for participating in what has been referred to on your planet as the harmonic convergence? First of all, the harmonic convergence represents the idea of an overlap of two vibrational epochs in your history. The old ways of segregation and negativity, the old cycle, as you may call it, and the new understanding, the new energy of integration and expansion of consciousness. The so-called harmonic convergence, where all the harmonics converge, is approximately to be recognized upon your dates of August 16th and 17th, although it has been going on for quite some time. That is simply, in your terminology, the actual midpoint of where the two vibrational epochs in your history overlap. It is the gateway, the doorway, that will allow you to begin to see more and more acceleration upon your planet of the reality you desire to experience. Now, what can you do to aid and assist in the acceleration of the harmonic convergence? Whatever excites you the most. That's what. Because if you are doing what excites you the most, then you are functioning at your highest level of energy and will have the strongest impact. So use your imagination. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next.
I recently ended a career,
Congratulations.
and I feel kind of lost.
Oh, all right. Well, here you are, right here. See, found you very quickly. May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Thank you very much. What excites you the most in life that you may not be doing? Well, thank you very much. Do you have a good answer? Oh, it is very simple. Do not make it complex. Keep it simple. Let's start one thing at a time. For example, we will assume, not because it is us, but simply because you are within this interaction, we will assume that right now this interaction is the thing that excites you the most, or you'd be doing something else, yes? Yeah, all right. The idea simply is to understand what excitement represents. Do you know what excitement is? You can say no.
No.
Thank you. Pay attention now. Are you paying attention?
Yes.
All right. Excitement is your physical translation of the vibratory energy that represents the path you chose to be in this life at any given moment. So, what we are saying and suggesting is that if at every given moment, moment to moment, you are doing the thing at that moment with integrity that excites you the most out of all the things that are capable of being done by you, then you are absolutely right on track with what you need to be doing. And if you do the thing that excites you the most with integrity that you are capable of doing out of all the opportunities that are available to you, then you will automatically lead yourself into exciting situation after exciting situation, because all excitement is a thread that leads to all other excitement. Because it is the path you are. And if you do the thing that excites you the most, you will be able to do that thing most effortlessly, without struggle, without pain, without strife. And if you do the thing that excites you the most, because it is your path, and because you can do it most effortlessly, it will be the thing, whether you have been taught to think it can't be or not, it will be the thing that will allow you to experience the highest degree of abundance in your life, to be able to support you to continue to do the thing at any given moment that excites you the most. So, if there is something that you have always wanted to do, and you simply have not allowed yourself to do it because of any number of various reasons that your society tells you it should not be done, that's no way to make a living. You have to work hard if you want to get anywhere. You have to suffer and struggle or you'll never amount to anything. Grow up. That's a very childish idea. Do not be naive. No one. Is any of this making some sense?
Yes.
So you can take it a step at a time and keep it simple. When we say the thing that excites you the most, we do not mean you have to come up with the thing that will be the most exciting thing you will ever do in your entire life. Some of you may know that, and that's all right and all well and good. But if you don't, then act upon the most exciting thing you are capable of acting on at any given moment. It will believe.
No.
But
it's like I know all these things and I
Yes.
know them, but I can't seem to make them, put them in my life, you know.
yes, but this individual has said it all in one word. It is a matter of trust. You may know them intellectually, but if you do not really believe them, you will not act like you believe it. And if you don't act like you believe it, you will not initiate the momentum that will prove that it works. You have to act like you believe it, not just sit and think you know that it will work. You have to move on it. You have to act upon the opportunities that present themselves in your life that are the opportunities that excite you the most. Excite you the most. Even if it appears that these opportunities have no apparent outward connection to some other thing you think excites you, if this is the thing that excites you the most at any given moment that you are capable of acting on, then do it. Because whether it looks like it's connected or not, it is the excitement that lets you know it is. And if you do have an idea of a particular thing that you say excites you, if you are not acting like a person that really believes they can do that thing or that they deserve to do that thing, then it also will not occur in your life. You have to act like the person that lives that life before that life will come to you to be lived. If you are not, in your estimation, ready or willing to live it, it won't come. And the way you show the universe that you are ready and willing to live it is by acting as if you are. Because you know that if another person were doing something you say you really want to do, they would be acting far differently than you might be acting now. So simply see in your mind the thing that may excite you and see yourself doing that thing, fully doing it in every way, shape, and form that you can imagine it can be done. And if you see any difference in that imaginary you that is doing that thing in terms of her actions as compared to your actions, then copy her actions. Understand?
Yes, thank you.
So, any idea you wish to be, act like you are that idea, and you will attract the opportunities to give you the opportunity to be that life, to be that person. If you do not act like that person, you cannot attract that lifestyle. Understand?
Yes.
Does that assist you?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bashar.
One moment. You are next after you.
I just wanted to know what happened
Before the dinosaurs. All right. Many different things. There have been many other civilizations upon your planet from time to time visiting. There have been many different types of civilizations that no longer exist upon your planet. There also have been many changes within the surface of your planet before, you say, the dinosaurs. There were other forms of life upon your planet before the dinosaurs, some of which eventually became, as you say, evolved into the dinosaurs. But also, there were other dimensions of experience, other beings that have come and gone, whole civilizations that have arisen and fallen before the dinosaurs. Does that answer your question? Well, thank you very much. Yes.
I've been doing the dolphin dance
Speak up, speak up.
since 1971.
Speak up again.
I have a harpoon and it's difficult for me to speak. That's
All
the
right.
question. How do I remove the harpoon?
Where do you believe it is lodged?
The harpoons are lost in the center of my back.
Are you willing to grant absolute validation to the circumstance that placed it there? Are you willing to own your part of the creation of that?
I don't understand.
Are you suggesting that there is something that is, in your terms, inhibiting you when you refer to the harpoon?
It's not a matter of inhibition, it's a matter of pain.
But it is a type of inhibition. I am not talking about the idea of ideological inhibition. Anything that, in your terms, prevents something from happening is called an inhibitor. You follow me?
Partially.
All right. It is simply a term, inhibitor, something which blocks. You understand?
Yes.
All right. What does the idea of dolphin energy represent to you?
Movement together with my brothers and sisters, with a telepathic connection. It's excitement, it's prayer.
Excitement, yes. Ecstasy, yes. Flexibility, yes. Above and beyond everything, it is play. In a very childlike way. Not childish, childlike. Now, can you imagine yourself back to a childlike state?
That's a part of the ritual.
Ritual? Do you need a ritual?
I have two aspects of my life. I have a professional that involves a different kind of energy than the dolphin dance. The dolphin dance, I have to enter into it.
But why must it be different? If that is what you say is the most exciting energy you wish to experience, why cannot that energy be used in all aspects of your life? Why do you create the separation?
It's simply a translation.
It may be more than that. You have said there are two types of energy.
Yeah, the dolphin dance is I translate that in my work.
Yes.
As a computer program.
Yes.
So they're both the same kind of energy.
Yes.
Just different expressions.
All right.
So they both give me excitement, joy, the creative expression.
All right.
But I found that in the dolphin dance itself,
Yes.
I've become aware over the last 3 years of the harpoon.
Why are you calling it a harpoon?
Our telepathic link informed me of that just as easy.
For how long have you had the pain?
For 3 years.
In your terminology, let's play with some time here. How long do you imagine, if you began to heal right now, both of you, how long do you imagine it would take to heal?
Twinkling of an eye?
Are you guessing?
No.
How long do you really believe it will take?
Once I understand the twinkling of an eye.
Yes.
How long?
But since you are suggesting that you don't understand now, how long will it take? You do not know?
I don't know.
All right. Fair enough. Can you, in your own estimation, in your imagination, play the scenario responsible for the creation of the harpoon backwards to a time before the harpoon?
Yes.
Then let that be the reality. And begin from then. And understand that you can take a different time track. That you can change the past. Because you create the past from the present. The present is not a result of the past. The past is a result of the present. Do you understand that?
Quite clearly.
Do you think you can do that?
Yes.
Then that can assist in alleviating what you experience as pain. For if you simply allow yourself to understand whatever it is you have learned from this shared experience, get what you need to out of the lesson, and then realize you do not need to learn your lesson that way, then you can diverge onto a parallel path wherein you do not need to experience that type of restriction, that type of pain. Nor does any counterpart you share with. But of course, dolphin counterparts are always more than willing to take upon themselves the idea of infliction to assist you, humanity, in learning the lessons it needs to learn. Because they love you that much. So if you are willing to take the absolute responsibility for the creation of your life now, and what you are feeling telepathically now, then you can feed back that understanding in present time, reroute the whole past idea onto another parallel track that doesn't need that negative experience. And as you say, you can, in the twinkling of an eye, transform that pain into another time track that has nothing at all to do with you or any of your counterparts. Understand? Does that work for you?
I think it would.
All right. Then allow yourselves back into alignment. For all pain, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, all pain is the result of the cutting off of a portion of yourself from the total energy that you are. So, allow yourself to reintegrate by allowing the past and the future to be in the now, and allowing yourself to have absolute conscious commandment over what you decide is your reality now, regardless of anything it has ever been. I think 3 years is long enough. Don't you?
Me too.
All right. Thank you very much. One moment. There also can be some whale energy that you can allow through in dream time, which will be so powerfully overwhelming to the whole experience that a tiny, small harpoon would be lost and dissolved inside that massive amount of energy. Understand? So let it come. Let the idea be within you, and then it can be dissolved. As long as it seems to be something external, it can cause a pain in the back. It is not external. It is internal. The whale knows this, even though the human and some dolphins may not. Thank you.
Bashar.
You!
Hi, Bashar. Speaking of pain.
All right. Speaking of pain.
Speaking of pain.
Yes.
I have had 2 concussions in the last 10 months.
How exciting. 2 concussions.
2 concussions to my head.
Yes.
I have had a headache because of that, and other very uncomfortable symptoms for the last 5 weeks.
Okay. Do you like yourself?
Yes, I like myself.
All right.
Yes, I do.
Just kidding. Continue.
I like myself a lot. Never sad.
Do you like the idea of being psychic?
I feel that I am psychic.
Yes, well, everyone
I have
is.
a psychic ability.
Everyone is. How
Well, I like
strongly, consciously psychic do you wish to be?
I do wish to develop my psychic abilities more.
All right.
But
Why? I'll wait.
we have all the time in the world, right?
Yes. Why?
It excites me.
Why?
Well, it makes me feel good. I feel
Why?
I feel positive.
Yes.
I feel that I'm helping people.
Oh.
Yeah. I feel like I'm able to share with people
Yes.
that which they're saying. It's like reflecting
Yes.
back.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. How badly do you feel people need that help?
Well, I think that they can do fine without it.
Oh, all right.
If they need me to be there in order to
Yes.
assist them, then I have done that in the past.
All right.
With dreams and stuff like that.
Do you understand that some individuals in your reality have created the idea of concussion to assist in the releasing of their psychic potential? To assist in the releasing of the idea of what you call the channeling vibration? Do you understand that the majority of all individuals who in your terms are strongly psychic or are channeling today have at one time or another in their lives experienced either a concussion or a strong electric shock?
No, I did not know.
Now you do.
Well, I did, but I didn't.
The idea simply seems at this timing in your reality to be a habit to completely unlock you from the habitual rituals and belief patterns that you were brought up with. In a sense, literally scrambling your circuit. understand that the idea of channeling in a controlled fashion is very similar to the experience of short-circuiting that many of you call epilepsy. The idea of the seizures, in a sense, are miniature concussions. And the idea of channeling, in a sense, is a controlled seizure of a sort, wherein it regards the electrical activity of your brain. Concussions, many times, are simply another way that many of you have, yes, a drastic way, I will admit, of releasing certain patterns of electrical conductivity within your brain to make it more conducive for you to channel the amount of energy in the way you wish to channel it, that you wish to channel in your life. You follow me? One moment. So, like many others, it simply has been your way to take it upon yourself to believe that you needed to shock yourself out of those old belief systems very quickly, very rapidly, rather than taking years and years and years and years of your time to process yourself through it. Now you are wide open. Your circuits are now interchangeable, very loose, very malleable, interconnectable into different reality patterns. Do you understand, all of you, literally, physiologically, every thought you have actually changes the neuronic pathways of your brain? Literally. It does. So realize now what you have done is opened yourself up for very rapid change. You are now very loosely connected, not strongly connected to any one particular reality, so that you can plug in, like what you might call colloquially a switchboard, to many realities, so that you can funnel and integrate and channel that energy through you. Now, you do not have to keep beating yourself up to do this. You can allow yourself to realize that you are integrated sufficiently and that all the necessary electrical conductivity is inherent within you. There is another way to allow this to occur. All of you can use this technique for various reasons. It can be very strong for the idea of also centering you out of disease as well as aligning the entire electromagnetic crystalline structure of your body and your brain. It is called the BLT, if you wish, the blue light technique. The idea, simply, is to allow yourself to close your eyes and imagine yourself drifting in a place of perfect peace. Whatever that may be, whenever that may be, it does not matter. Trust your imagination. And as you are floating, drifting, laying, dark, light, cool, warm, doesn't matter, in a relaxed and meditative state, if you imagine yourself surrounded by a crystalline sphere of transparent blue-white energy, extending at least 1 to 3 feet above your head, 1 to 3 feet below your feet, going all the way around so that your body is floating in the middle of it. Even if you're lying on the ground, allow the sphere to go through the ground. Then you can imagine that not only is it a hollow sphere, it is filled with blue, effervescent, electric, liquid light. And that you are actually breathing this light in and out, in and out, slowly, comfortably. And as you breathe this light in and out like a thick electric liquid, you begin to feel the liquid actually penetrating the pores of your body, the cells of your body, the molecules, the atomic structure of your body. You are now literally breathing this fluid in and out with your whole body, not just your mouth, not just your nose, your whole body. And as you begin to do this more and more, in your imagination, allow your physical body to begin to dissolve, to become the blue liquid. Allow yourself to become one homogeneous blue liquid light sphere. And as you imagine this, picture it to be a completely homogeneous sphere where no one part stands out more than any other part. And the whole sphere is breathing, beating, with one pulse, one breath, one heart. And it is your consciousness itself, made out of electromagnetic light. Electromagnetic fundamental energy, the primal vibration of creation. You are completely harmoniously synchronized with it at this point in this exercise. Then, focus your consciousness inward to the very center of the sphere and see a tiny crystalline seed, sparkling, shining, forming at the center of the sphere. Out of the liquid, this seed is formed, this crystal is formed. And it grows and multiplies. 2, 4, 8, more and more crystals growing and growing and growing and growing into the shape of your body, your idealized body state. And know, as you see this body grow, that it is now made of the homogeneous liquid, the homogeneous energy. It is balanced, it is regrowing, it is transparent, it is pure, it is crystalline. Allow the body to reform. And know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is not the old body. Literally. It is a new representation, a new body to represent the persona you prefer to be, made out of the vibration you prefer to be, and nothing else. It is a laser-like, monochromatic, single crystalline form, vibrating on one frequency, the frequency of the reality you prefer. Then take 3 breaths with that new body. Lock it in. Let the energy sphere dissolve, but know that it is always around you. Always is your body within it. Out of this sphere, you will now create the rest of your seemingly external experiential reality. But you will always remember the following thing. Consciousness is not in your body. Your body is in your consciousness. It is your idea of yourself. Then simply continue to breathe and open your eyes from your meditation and know that you are different. That your world is not the same world it used to be, literally, because you create your universal reality, literally. And that now it is more representative of who you desire to be. And that every time you do this exercise, bit by bit, whether you choose to be fast or slow about it, does not matter, bit by bit, or in the twinkling of an eye, you will be representative and completely made of the same substance as the reality around you. You are one thing. One thing. And you can allow yourself to know whatever you need to know, when you need to know it, to be who you desire to be. You can use that technique for centering. It can be used to alleviate almost any form of dis-ease. You can, in that sense, use it even to sustain yourself from time to time. You may find you will need less sleep, perhaps even less food because of it. But it is up to you. Let your imagination be your guide, and let yourself know beyond a shadow of a doubt that a difference has been made. All right?
I sometimes have a problem when I use the blue light for healing.
Then use it in whatever way you wish to, and assume you are centered.
Do I need to see? I don't feel that I need to see the blue light.
One more time, pay attention. Let your imagination alter it in any way, shape, or form you feel represents the vibration that you are. It will be correct. Take it for granted that it is working, even if your analytical mind keeps jumping in and saying, no, that's not what he said. No, you're not getting it right. There is no right and wrong with regards to this idea. Do it in the way that is representative of who you are. All right?
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, how does my engineering background tie in with it?
You can understand vibrational tones and crystalline structures very well. It is very natural to you. And so it should be a very natural thing for you to understand what is being accomplished by this particular visualization. You are understanding that all is made of vibrational energy. So it is eminently changeable without having to knock yourself around to do it. All right? Thank you very much. Accelerated dream life to you. You! Than you. Okay?
I'm becoming much more aware of contact with beings not of this planet presently.
This is true for many of you. Continue.
And it has been for a long time, but I'm really remembering these things now.
Many of you are now remembering what you colloquially call lost time.
I also am feeling very much that I'm coming closer to realization of a prior commitment. To serve many during this time of transition.
Good. Whole idea.
And I am feeling that an imminent contact will aid me in this realization.
Back up. You have already, in a sense, been contacted.
Yes. But I'm not conscious at this point.
It doesn't matter. You don't need to be. The idea of allowing you to be somewhat unconscious is for the purpose of allowing you to continue to live your life spontaneously, without the idea of a particular format to follow. The knowledge that you need to have is within you, and it will come out in the actions that you do when you do what excites you the most. But the structure of the agreement is not always necessary, and many times need not be there, because it would hamper you in your spontaneous interactions with life. Understand?
I believe so.
When you really need to know the specifics, you will. And many times it will come in the form you call a deja vu. After you have lived it through spontaneously, you let it be all right to remember the agreement you made, the planning that you did. That's what you call a deja vu. Because you have already seen it. Because you planned it out. You agreed to it. But you did not want to know about it, because knowing about it would not have allowed you to live it spontaneously, in the moment. It would have hampered you. Made you watch every single step. Oh, am I following the plan? Oh, I might diverge here. I don't know. Got to be careful. One small step at a time. You wouldn't get very far, at least not as quickly.
Okay, I guess my question I'm trying to bring in these thoughts in one focus is that I'm trying to release a fear that I have.
All right.
I am releasing.
Yes, you are. Good.
I'm feeling joyous at the thought of a conscious connection.
Yes.
And I'm feeling it to be soon. I guess my question is there something that you can say that will perhaps make me more joyous for this connection?
Remember, first of all, that these connections and contacts are all happening within perfect timing. We know what we're doing because we've done this before. Trust it. When you are truly ready, as an assimilated being, as an integrated being, nothing will prevent that contact. Nothing. Understand? All dates with destiny are on time because you create them. You will not miss it. Do not worry about it. Live the life you are living, because that is the fulfillment of the agreement that will take you into more conscious recognition of what the agreement is. It is not fully time yet. And many of you who think you are ready for a face-to-face encounter are not. Because there are still many portions of yourself that you have not integrated. And if you maintain those portions in a lack of integration, and you encounter a being that is integrated, and in no way do we mean this to be derogatory to you, you will be overwhelmed by the aura of an integrated being. it will force to the surface all those portions of yourself you are not ready to face and can cause terror, fear, and psychotic shock within you. Many times when you think you're ready, many individuals who have thought so have come very close to having an interaction, and our members of our civilization know what they are doing when they only come close, and those individuals who thought they were ready all of a sudden become very afraid. Because they realize that there are still things within themselves that are not resolved. And anytime you are in the presence of a being that is totally integrated, their energy will force you to face all the things within yourself that you may not be ready to face. And we will not do that to you. Any individual that has come into contact, as you say, face to face, and experienced some degree of fear, is actually experiencing the last vestiges of their fear. They simply are functioning on a level where it is deemed safe for them to go through the last vestiges of their fear because they have already integrated most of it. Some of them, to their way of thinking, still go through a great deal of terror, but that great deal of terror, or what you call a great deal of terror within some of those contacts, is actually a very small portion of the terror we sense has been bred into many of you. So we wait until we feel that a small enough amount is left to assist in accelerating it through you. But again, the timing is what it is. And many of the individuals that have had some face-to-face encounters and gone through that fear have actually added to your society a type of energy that makes it more available for the rest of you not to need to experience that fear when and if those interactions take place. So, continue to live your life. Yes, agreements have been made. You will not miss them. Enjoy where you are now. This is the key. This is the key. Enjoy where you are now, and that will allow you to get wherever else you want to be that much more quickly. The longer you deny that where you are now has anything at all to do with your life impatiently, and avoid understanding that you created it there for a reason, then the longer it takes for you to get anywhere else, because if you're not willing to live now, then you cannot get to the next moment until you live where you're at. So stay in the present. Do not think that something is coming along that is better than where you are now, because it isn't. It's going to be different. It may be more expanded, but it isn't better. It's just different. Understand? Does that assist you? Well, pleasant dreams to you. Thank you. Guys, one moment. You are next.
I was wondering if you could help me understand a dream.
Speak up so that all may share.
Okay. The background was like Persian temples, and it was all in pinks and blues and greens. And there were a lot of children, and there was a lot of laughter and joy, and people were going down these huge water slides. And then the next scene of that, we were standing in a group, and somebody handed me an alien child. And that's all I remember about the dream.
To some degree, it is an indication of a probable future on your planet. Meaning that the child in that sense might be yours. And it also at the same time might literally be you. In what you call your future upon your earth. When there is more interaction, more joy, more ecstasy. When you have, in your own terms, created heaven on earth. It is a sensing of the likely, most probable reality that you are vibrating in accord to right now. It is representative of a new birth, of new ideas, new intermingling, new interaction. You follow me?
I'm not real clear about the alien child. Would it be literally an alien child?
It can be, yes. It is also symbolic of the growing of the experience of sharing between our respective cultures. Not just mine, but of many others as well. Do you understand? You are simply giving yourself previews of certain ideas that will be manifesting upon your planet. If you say so. It is also to some degree a past memory of connections in Atlantean time.
How is that?
Because similar interactions took place then. Similar experiences of paradise and interactions with extraterrestrial civilizations took place in your Atlantis. And you are now recreating that reality upon your planet.
So is it possible for a human to have an alien child?
Yes.
Okay.
Because understand, in a very real sense, none of you are original to Earth anyway. And don't forget that as far as I'm concerned, you are aliens. Does that answer the question?
Yes. I have one.
Also, a large portion of what you think of as your humaniform body are already the product of interactions between yourself and extraterrestrial civilization.
Yeah.
Especially in Atlantean time. Does that answer your question?
I have something else real quick I just
All
want
right.
to share. I woke up with menstrual cramps the other night, and I heard somebody say, go into the cramp.
Yes.
And twice it happened that evening. I found myself literally in the middle of a cramp, and it went away.
Yes. Anytime you go into something and do not fear to face it, you will transform it. Because you go into it, and when you do, you own it utterly. You cannot change what you do not own.
Was somebody working with me that evening?
To some degree, yes.
Thank you.
But you were doing the strongest work. Because you had the strongest trust. Thank you. No one needs to experience that pain. Particularly with the idea of childbirth and anything associated with it, dolphin energy is also being of strong assistance in alleviating your pain. Thank you. Yes?
Sure. How do the dolphins feel about being at SeaWorld?
They recognize the nature, basically, of the captivity, but at the same time, on some level, they are willing to participate in that if that is what it will take to blend your two societies together. They are loving enough to do that. Now, it is our suggestion, and many of you have already started this upon your planet, that you can begin to build theaters of interaction that are in your oceans where they can come and go freely. They will come because they want to. They will interact with you. You don't have to hold them captive to have those interactions. But even if they are captive, they recognize that they are providing you a service, an opportunity to get to know them, to get to know each other, so that you can feel each other. You follow me?
Yes, thank you.
So, while they may prefer not to be captive in the overall sense, they are willing to do it to assist you in learning to love yourself by loving them, by learning how to play with them. All of you have open, standing invitations to go and play with dolphins in your ocean. Physically, they will come to you. Because it is time to blend the two alien societies upon your planet into one society, as it used to be. Right now, one of the strongest things that is going on is that many of your children, especially those before what you call the age of 3 of your years, and many of the young dolphins are actually sharing bodies in their dream state, astrally, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, slipping in and out, getting used to, once again, the idea of living lives as either species upon your planet, which you have done before. So the children now, the human children, the dolphin children, are slipping into each other's bodies. Because you are both the same type of soul. We've all met. Does that assist you? Well, thank you very much. You, and then you.
Is that why the on the news a baby dolphin washed into shore? I think it was in San Francisco.
Yes.
Is that
it has something to do with the idea now of showing you the level of energy that is the strongest. The idea of the level that is coming to you, interacting with you, and it will meet you on your own terms if you will not meet it on it. It will come to you as it has.
Do you sense a stronger convergence or equal in February 13th of 88?
There is some preparation on the idea of February, but also, once again, do not forget that of every year, especially between now and your year 1990, one of the strongest dates will be your March 15th, as it always is.
Can you explain why?
That is simply indicative of the vibratory pattern of going to another accelerated level. Many of you already recognize this. You call it the Ides of March. It is simply a recognition of a connection to conscious, subconscious, and unconscious aspects of yourself, the making of assessments of those portions of yourself, the integration of what you are ready to integrate, and the stepping up to a new level from that point forward. It is a very natural cycle of vibratory overlap in your society.
So basically, as we all accelerate, we're doing this in leaps and bounds.
Yes.
Because as more people become more accelerated.
Yes. It is geometric, logarithmic. The idea is that there will be highly compacted acceleration by your year 1990, which will allow there to be more conductivity, more conduciveness to allowing more blatant interactions between your civilization and the civilizations within the association of worlds.
Okay, I have one more question.
Hey.
Can you explain the difference between this transformational age and other transformational ages that have come upon our planet? I mean, astrologically, we're actually entering the age of Aquarius, which undoubtedly we've done before, since that's based on the wobble.
In a sense,
of the
yes.
Earth's axis.
But now you have experienced high degrees of compacted negativity, whereas you had not before. So you are coming into this transformation with a high degree of accelerated energy.
Okay, so we're coming out of the loop.
Yes.
Okay.
You are now exiting the cycle of negativity at a highly accelerated rate, faster than you ever have before. It is, as we have used before, the idea of the rubber band analogy. As we have said, transformation is not the product of mediocrity. And you can look at the idea of all the negativity you have experienced as having a rubber band that you have pulled very, 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 very far back into the negative. When you let go, just think how far and fast it's going to go into the positive. That is the main difference between all the other cycles and this one. Because you are coming out of a highly compressed cycle of negativity, which is going to shoot you very abruptly into a very expanded cycle of integrity.
Okay, so what I'm seeing then, I've figured out, is the conclusion of a cycle in February, which is in preparation for another new beginning of March.
A sub-cycle, if you wish.
All right, thank you.
And also, your energy is strong enough now to allow this cycle of integration to be the last cycle. In approximately 2,000 to 3,000 of your years, you will no longer need to be physical as a race at all. And you will leave your Earth. And allow others who may wish to have similar experiences to what you have experienced to come in and use the planetary vibration. Thank you. Now,
good evening, Bashar. Good evening, Bashar. Just recently, I became a hospice volunteer.
Oh,
and I got my first hospice patient, and I felt that the things that I had learned and coming and listening to you and so on, that I was ready for questions. And I was talking with this my first patient, and she said, I'm on prayer chains across the country, and I don't understand why some people are healed and I have not been. And looking at this lady who may be in the latter stages of her physical existence here, and she has what she perceives to be cancer of the liver and pancreas and colon. Or she has been schooled in the conventional, traditional ways of religion and so on. So I didn't know what to say. When that happens again, I won't be ready.
All right. Up to you.
Can you enlighten me as to what I could say to someone who has been traditionally, I can't say to someone, you might have chosen that.
Well, you can say it. They don't have to believe it. Maybe they'll say, what do you mean?
I'm sure they will.
Then you can explain it. Again, not that they have to believe it. The only thing you can really do to be of best service to anyone is create a reflection of what you believe, in that sense, is most true for you. And say, this is what I believe. Now, you may have your own belief, and I believe your belief is just as valid. Let them begin to explore, first of all, by allowing yourself to share what your belief is, so they can at least have the opportunity to consider whether they may choose to believe like you or not.
I see. So just go ahead and forge ahead and say it.
Say the most natural thing there is for you to say. Then you will be being of best service. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sure.
You.
I had an interesting experience the other day with my brother.
All right.
We were driving down the freeway, and I looked up and I saw what I consider to be whatever, UFO or someone else. And I saw it, and I was
Anything that is unidentified is a UFO.
well, I considered it to be
IFO?
an IFO.
Identified flying object. Define. Describe.
It was a flash in the cloud, and it was kind of a yellowish silver kind of color, and it's something I've never seen before. Unlike I've seen before.
Could you see any definitive shape? Or just a flash?
No, it was just a flash. And my
Time of day.
it was about 3 o'clock, I think.
Date in your counting.
I'm perfect to try to date.
Within a day or two will be fine.
It was about 2 weeks ago.
Our perception at this time, not a spacecraft.
Because my curiosity was that as soon as I pointed it out to my brother, I didn't see it anymore.
Yes.
And he didn't see it.
Yes.
And so I was curious as to why that was, and
Simply because of what you call aberrations of light.
let's see.
Now, you can, if you wish, follow what we call our rule of thumb. It is a very simple rule. It is designed to remove all the wondering and the mystery from this idea. If it isn't absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, obviously a spacecraft, then it isn't. Even if it is. Because the whole idea is, why spend time wondering? Now, it may have piqued your curiosity, and in piquing your curiosity, the synchronicity of that event may tie into other things that may have to do with extraterrestrial connections and so forth, and that may be where you are picking up the flavor. But you can use many typical objects in your own reality to instigate that curiosity and then allow you to pick up the flavor that may allow you to think it's an extraterrestrial craft, when it wasn't. But it was perhaps the catalyst to spur you in a certain direction to start looking in different ways. You follow? That's the flavor you're picking up. But it was a very, in your terms, ordinary plant. Does that serve? Thank you. You. Then you. 1, 2.
I'd like to talk about the dolphins and music.
All right, you go right ahead. I'll pay rapt attention.
I'd like you to talk with me about it.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
I was introduced to the idea of...
Speak up, speak up, speak up.
I was introduced to the idea of the Sumerians, I believe it is, that...
Sumerians.
Okay, that interacted with dolphins and whales.
Yes.
And did this...
And energy from Sirius.
Okay.
As represented by what you call Oannes. Their deity, which you call half human, half fish, which is not a literal translation of Sirius energy, but it is an interpretation. Many other civilizations upon your planet will interpret Sirius energy in the same way. Half human, half fish, because of the nature of the fact that Sirius energy exists in an energy sea, because of their connection to dolphin consciousness. Many of you in those ancient interactions simply assumed they were literally amphibious, but also you sensed that they were, in a sense, humaniform like yourselves, and so you blend those two ideas together.
I find it very intriguing, so I feel that I was maybe a part of these interactions at that time.
Very strongly so. As a matter of fact, it is our perception very strongly that you were in what is called royal courts.
Could you expand on that? I don't
Simply that you were, in your terminology, a child of royalty, and you had very much experience and spent many wonderful hours of enjoyment talking to the astronomers of the time, discussing the stars and the connections and the energies and the deities and the gods as you defined them back then. It fascinated you to no end.
Was music a part of that?
It is always a part of the royal upbringing, and it was always taught to be harmonious with all aspects of science and religion.
What time frame is that?
There are a few. Some of it is in what you would call your 1300. Some of it is also BC, many times BC as you call it. 5th, 6th, BC. But you have paid many visits in many tangential ways to that particular area.
And so my dreams about dolphins and whales is...
It's connected there, but it's also connected to the present, of course, because that's what's going on, the blending of those two societies, yours and theirs.
I've been having a lot of fun recently with music. There was a lot of tension at first about getting up and doing it. So I felt that, well, this doesn't excite me because it's too scary.
Oh, no,
and I got
no.
kind of confused at that point, but I've worked through that now because I forced myself into a situation where I had to decide.
Sometimes you can tell the things that really actually excite you the most because they do scare you the most.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's simply because of the way you have created your society to be, and sometimes that's the only way to tell. The thing that you are most afraid of doing is very often the thing that represents what you really need to do, to be really who you are.
And a lot of times during interactions like this and when I'm feeling real high, I have this sense in my throat of opening and clearing.
Very good.
That's the chakra.
Yes. And it is for you to put forth the expression of the vibrational tones of music and harmony.
Wonderful.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Number 2.
Bashar,
why is it necessary for your society to use spacecraft?
Thank you. First of all, it's fun. Secondly, do not, in your terms, elevate us beyond the idea of the evolutionary pattern in which we also exist. We are not all that dissimilar from you. The idea that there are civilizations that do not need that kind of accoutrement. They simply project themselves in your terms mentally. And in a sense, that's what we do when we use spacecraft as well. But it simply is representative of the phase of evolution we are in. In the same sense that you use what you call your automobile to get around. Even though in using an automobile, you're also projecting yourself with your consciousness and creating the illusion of an automobile. You don't need an automobile either. But the idea simply is also that it serves many other functions. Maintaining the level of understanding we have, even though that is changing for us, also assists us in dealing with civilizations that still look to the physical symbols to understand what is going on. So the level upon which we exist, the utilization of spacecraft, makes it easier also for you to understand what we are talking about, because you can relate to us more easily in many ways, in general, as a society that is used to using objects. But it is also an indication of the state of our own evolution. As a society, we are just beginning to use the idea that we do not need spacecraft. But spacecraft still exists as a remnant idea in our society, and so we will still use them. We are still, to some degree, physiological, like you, even though we are a different dimension, a different density vibration. But we, in a sense, went through similar ideas to you, not the same, but similar ideas of physiological evolution. And we have invented the idea of spacecraft in the way we have, in much the same way that you are inventing spacecraft. So it is simply that in our stage of evolution, we have that device. Just as you have your car, your train, your plane, and so forth. You follow me? Does that answer the question? And also, one more time, it's fun. You will, in time, get an opportunity to see some of them, and perhaps you will enjoy them as much as we do. For some of them are quite large. As
I just wanted to suggest a break when you're ready.
then you may all take a short break because you are ready now. And we will resume contact in approximately 15 of your minutes. I'll say, continue. You, then you.
I have a couple questions.
I
First one, I'm going to ask the three channelings, and by coincidence it happens that at the last channeling someone else asked identity.
Speak up.
It happens that at the last channeling someone else asked identically the same question. So that's an individual thing, so
All right.
read it. I feel a connection to the channel. Can you tell me what that is? Is that a past life or something else?
Some of it is past association, some of it. Not necessarily in the exact linear way you might think. Some of it is an association by similar vibration, similar endeavor. One moment. Much of it has been by what you simply call acquaintance. Through many different lifetimes, yes. And general agreements of similar vibrational principles, but in different ways. Will that do?
Yes.
Thank you.
You mentioned once that malachite can have a lot to do with body temperature regulation.
Yes.
How would you use it to stabilize body temperature? Would you wear it to a certain chakra?
You can pass it over your third eye area, sometimes your solar plexus area, sometimes down the spine. Can have regulating effects, sometimes just holding it in hand. But again, also simply the imagination of that particular idea, the vibration that it represents, can also have the same effect, without In your terms, the physical object present. You follow me?
Yeah.
It is the idea, the vibration that it represents.
The field.
Yes. That will create the change, the difference. And it can be different for different individuals depending upon their specific vibrational signature frequency.
Okay.
Does that serve it?
Yes. Third question is, back in the 1800s, there were two individuals who were keys to the development of our present electrical technology.
Speak up, speak up.
They were Nikola Tesla
And
James Clerk Maxwell.
And
And their work was so original as to be...
it was a rediscovery of understandings your civilization had long ago. In that sense, original for your time. Yes.
Well, it's so out of context with everything else that was happening at that time. It's like it was almost inspired. Or perhaps it was inspired, but it's very profound. And
it was a literal recognition of what the electromagnetic field is, and a very natural way to tap into that source. It is the same principles that we utilize in our spacecraft.
Right. Well, I always felt sort of intuitively that the work they did was actually the key to causing, or the key to other changes as well as the technology that has evolved from it.
Yes, the realizations in and of themselves were indicative of level shifts in the collective consciousness of your planet.
I think what I'm trying to ask you is, the original work they did it cause, did it make other specific changes in our society or our consciousness?
Of course. All things are interconnected. All things. It accelerated to some degree what is going on now. The ability of the general society in which you exist to express a desire to explore its connection to all levels of consciousness. It had that effect. Because it literally, in that sense, electrified a large portion of your consciousness.
Because of the dramatic changes.
Yes.
Visible.
And also because some of the specific energy that was being used literally had a direct effect upon your electromagnetic mentality. Just because of some of the devices that were being utilized and invented by those individuals.
Could you be more specific on that?
The idea specifically of what you call Tesla's generating wave station, that which took advantage of the natural cycle of your Earth's vibration, 7.5 cycles per second, tapped into a frequency of the crystalline Earth that actually caused reverberations in the mental field of every individual living on your planet.
I understood you never fully completed that.
Not fully, no. But yet it was used.
But it did have some effect.
Yes.
One further question. Are you familiar with the term biological personality?
Define.
As I understand it, it's a consciousness that is associated with physical body.
Body consciousness.
And it seems to be transmitted, passed from one generation to another, like it stays on the Earth's plane.
Yes.
And connects the individual to the energy of the Earth.
Yes, in a sense, yes.
Okay. I'm wondering, technically, how does that work? Does it interconnect with the etheric body?
Yes, it does. It interconnects through all different levels of your consciousness that are attached to what you call the reincarnational karmic cycle of your particular planet, your particular overall frequency, yes. It is the general theme consciousness, the general cycle consciousness that carries with it the wave front of your biological evolution, determined by the directions in which your consciousness flows at any given moment. It actually has the ability to unlock the genetic structure in certain directions and cause what you call mutations.
Well, now, are we talking about something that is a part of the individual's consciousness, or is it something that...
It is a part of the collective consciousness and therefore a part of every individual within it.
So it is imperative in a physical sense.
It is a template in a non-physical sense that creates the apparency of physical inheritance.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I have the idea of what you're saying. I don't fully understand.
If you wish, it is a branching program that sometimes shifts when you change the whole idea, the collective idea of yourself, and then causes spontaneous mutation to take place within the individual body consciousness to accommodate the bodily forms that are necessary to survive within the energy that has been newly created.
I see. It contains all the possibilities.
Yes, the template.
My question, the other part of my question is, how can I relate to interact with that in a way that is mutually beneficial rather than being in conflict with it at times?
Experiment with electromagnetism. You have, in and of yourself, many similar approaches to the ideas of individuals, such as you have mentioned Tesla, Maxwell, Faraday. You have had experience in these realms, explore it further, and really understand the vibrational pulses of electromagnetism that can cause different types of crystallization take place within your bodily form. So the template and your mentality is created from the electromagnetic field. You can redefine that. Experiment with it.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Yes?
Sure. About last summer, I asked you about where my father is. He had died in 1968. You said...
Speak up, speak up, speak up.
You said at that time that you had given me enough information and that you told me that he was hanging out with other musicians, and that is what he is. But a couple things are coming up.
Yes,
one,
I did say hanging out. You are rubbing off on me.
He would really have enjoyed you, but I think he enjoyed you anyway.
Thank you.
Okay. I have a lot of nostalgic things that go on about my father, particularly when I hear certain music, and it's just about all kinds of music from 1970 back because he played all kinds of music. So often today I could hear a song and
it reconnects you into that vibration.
Totally. And very, very constant.
It is also very, very present. Yes.
And sometimes, like today, I've become very tearful. There's a lot of pain.
Why?
Well, it feels like there's a lot of unresolved things. We didn't get a chance to say certain things, or I did not get a chance
Then say them now. When you are tapped into that vibrational frequency, resolve them. What are you waiting for?
I don't know, but I end up feeling the sadness, and then I don't...
Well, perhaps you do not really believe you are connected.
Okay, something that is happening in connection with is I grew up in an extended Italian family. There were 19 first cousins, and the last of those cousins is getting married in August. And also...
Are you feeling nostalgic again?
Yes, so much so that I do want to go to New York and be at the wedding.
Oh, I have a good time.
Thank you. And I feel that the wedding, a lot of my very elderly aunts and uncles, all of whom grew up, my parents and my aunts and uncles, all grew up together from around age 12 and 13 and 14.
All right.
I feel like it's a journey to learn more about my father.
Can be, yes. To some degree, you may discover some things that you heretofore did not understand.
And that it will particularly, the information will be given to me particularly by two uncles who he was very close to in the youth.
Perhaps also a female, where you least expect it.
Okay, then it doesn't feel like there's really any question other than that I want to keep confirming to myself that this is an important event, that I want to be there.
It is an event. You have it in your imagination now, yes?
Yes.
Then you are there now. And the more you understand that that is real now, the easier it will be for you to attract the physiological representational circumstances to allow it to manifest, to match the picture and the vibration you are creating, that you are there now. You are at the wedding now. Literally. Let your physical reality fall into place to bring you the circumstances that will allow you to manifest, physicalize what you know now exists. Because you say so. All right?
Well, what's happening right now is that I am there and I do hear his music.
Yes. So it is all in the present. It is all alive right now. You are in connection now. Sometimes the releasing that you are feeling is your way of resolving what you believe is not being resolved. You are centering within the vibration that represents his signature energy. And by centering, even if you are doing it through tears, you are resolving what you think wasn't resolved. Understand?
Yes, I do, because it's the signature of the music is very loud and clear.
Yes. Then assume that it is resolving. Otherwise, the signature would not be that strong. You are in synchronous harmony to be able to perceive the signature that strongly. It means you're resolved. Now, if you choose to continue to believe that you're not, you can enjoy that process too. That's all right. It's up to you. Completely up to you.
No, I choose the sense of resolvement because I feel also that if I stay connected to that idea, that there's another, and I feel like my dad has been telling me this, that there's another level for me to go to now, but that I have to be very clear.
Well, do me a favor, will you? Do as I do. Well. No. Like this. Well. That's all right. Repeat after me. Well. What do you know? Here I am. Always. Where I belong. Unconditional love. Is mine to create. Mine to behold. Mine to experience.
I feel like I'm getting married.
Do not think that just because you attend a wedding that you are not being married as well. You are marrying more of yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You may kiss yourself. Have a nice honeymoon. Thank you. Allow the new new dream gates and dream doorways within you now to send you a flood of new light, new life. All right?
I will.
Pleasant dreams. Yes?
Thank you. Bashar,
Yay.
how do I overcome my fear?
Which one?
I feel at the present time there's a lot of transformation. I feel like I am really offering something of magnificence, but I can't let go of
Of what?
fear.
Fear of what? Label it.
The unknown.
Fear of the unknown. If you don't know what it is, why are you afraid of it? How do you know it's not positive? Oh, then why are you afraid of it? Why are you afraid of it? If you know it's positive, what is there to fear? Ability. You just told me that you recognize you are going through transformational changes, yes? You don't sound too sure. All right. You, in a sense, just told me that you perceive that there is energy and ideas that you would be very excited about doing, yes? Do you understand that your ability to perceive it, to conceive of it, is the same thing as your ability to manifest it? Do you understand the connection? They are one and the same, two sides of the same coin. No such thing as one-sided coins. If you have the ability to conceive of it, that shows you have the ability to manifest it, or you would never have been able to conceive it. Because the universe does not have pointless and extraneous creation. There is no such thing as a person who has the ability to conceive of something they cannot do. Understand? So if you see something that really excites you because you can perceive it, it says you have the ability to manifest it. Otherwise, you would have conceived of something else. It's that easy. Does that help you? Oh, all right.
I have a fear of having a child.
A fear of having a child. Why? Do you think it will interfere with something? No,
I have
all right.
a picture that I made in a commitment some time ago to bring. I have a picture that I made a commitment some time ago to bring some being to the center that wouldn't be in a normal physical form. I don't know if it's real or if it's real.
In a sense, it is real. Continue. So what of it?
I don't know what to do about it.
How about just continue your life and let everything fall into place? Because when you get to be the person that is representative of the agreement, it will all feel natural by definition by then. You don't have to worry about it now. If you're not the person yet that will be the person that will fulfill the agreement, then why are you worried about it when it's not you? Let yourself grow and become that you, and then when you are that you, it will feel natural and you won't be worried about it. So don't worry about it now because it's not you yet, and when you become that you won't worry about it because it's natural. Understand? As you say, sufficient unto the day is the light therein. Be who you are now. You don't have to worry about who you're going to be. When you are that person, you will naturally be that person. And everything that that person is all about will feel the thing that that person needs to feel. And they will feel quite correct at that time. Well, thank you very much. One moment. Give it anywhere from 3 to 7 of your years. All right? There's many, many things that you will be doing before then. Many things. Many things. Thank you. Sure. You.
All the metaphysical books say that we're here
on this earth is the classroom, and we're learning lessons.
Everywhere is a classroom.
Everywhere. And I want to know why. Who created this game?
You did. All of you did, together. You agreed to be where you are.
We've agreed that we will live as, human beings on this earth.
That's plain and simple.
That's it.
Your game. You can change it in any way, shape, or form you desire to. It is not locked.
The Steph material talks about that all that is wanting to know itself and therefore created people.
All that is will experience itself in all the ways there is to experience itself, and what you call people, well, at least your version is one of those ways.
Right. And so that's what we're doing, is just experiencing ourselves as the creative energy.
Yes, in this particular modality. Just as we are experiencing ourselves as the infinite creator in our particular modality.
And the dolphins and the other creatures.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your choice and your willingness to be of service in the time and place you chose to be. It makes a difference.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
Yes. All right, you.
Okay.
Then female.
Yeah, I just want to share a little synchronicity.
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Do speak up.
All right. I rented a VCR to run it. It's up before you. I know that. But we're doing a you dealt with this eons ago. We're doing a session of the intensive workshop tomorrow, and I wanted a smaller VCR, so I rented one. And at the same time, we said, well, let's rent a movie while we're in the store. And I thought, well, do I want a movie that's kind of silly or something after this wonderful channeling? I thought, well, maybe I'll get something that's close to it or about the same thing. And after what we're talking about, experiencing the all of everything, I thought it was very apropos that the movie that I just happened to grab was all of me.
Yay!
Isn't that good? That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Female. Hello.
I have a question
I am not surprised.
about my mother.
Right.
Kind of a twofold question. She died
Hold the way.
She died in 1970 of a stroke. She was diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenic before that, and she was in that state for about 5 years prior to her death.
All right.
I would like to know how she is now.
They are both doing fine. I am not making a joke, for it is an ultimate cosmic form of humor that the particular experience that individual had that you call paranoid schizophrenia has allowed the oversoul to split itself into more than one incarnation this time. To experience the bipolar realities that were in that sense contained within one body before. An oversoul can have as many bodies as it likes in any time frame. And an individual that, in this case, has experienced in one body the idea of schizophrenia, as we have perceived it in this particular round of incarnation, has allowed itself not to reincarnate as a single individual, but as more than one. To experience the differences that were being experienced within one body now in different bodies. To play out the idea that was begun in the one body as a split. Is that counterpart? Yes, it is called counterparts. So they are fine, and in our perception, reincarnated.
Well,
as more than one person.
You want to have identities now.
As more than one person, yes.
Well, at the time, she was totally miserable.
Yes, at the time.
Angry and resentful.
Yes, did not have to be.
So that's how you would explain schizophrenia.
Oh, there are many ways to create that apparency on the surface. That is simply one of them. And that is simply the case we perceive here. Thank you very much. One moment. Yes.
I have another question. In 1970, I went to Stonehenge.
Hey.
And it was while people were still allowed to walk around among the stones.
It was a very, very nice experience. And
Yes.
I hit England. It was around Christmas time.
Did it hurt?
No.
Oh, what?
They were having a flu epidemic, and I got sick there. And I was unconscious for 3 days.
As part of it is reliving the plague. You have assimilated much in those 3 days.
I had a feeling I did. I was with an English friend, and they were giving me aspirin and codeine. It made all my joints swell really badly.
You have a familiarity with that area. You have been, in that sense, familiar with what you call Druidic rites.
Yes, I had strong feelings about that. My other question that has to do with Stonehenge is Sedona and Stonehenge are considered
magnetic forces.
Yes,
Yes.
and they're positive.
Yes.
Are there any other on the earth? And
Oh, there are many. There is a very strong one.
Yes.
Under what you call England, on the Isle of Man. Very strong.
Where else?
Many, many. Almost at every axis point of the meridians of the ley lines of your planet. But there are some that fluctuate in stronger formats. The one in what you call your Bermuda area is a very strong one, but it fluctuates randomly because of certain attachments to Atalantean technology as well. What you call the Great Pyramid in Giza is a very strong one. That is why it was built there. Understand? Mm-hmm. It takes advantage of the energy in that vortex for the rites of initiation that were performed within its structure. There are many in what you call all portions of your planet. There are some very large ones in what you would call the major chakra points. Again, your Mount Shasta, your Hawaii, your Mount Fuji, point in Peru, area you call Baja, very strong, in the northern area. Area you call Yucatan, very strong. There are many, many, many. Will that do?
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sure.
I want to ask about star people. I've been reading a lot about star seeds.
As you are all, in a sense, star people, as we have said, none of you are original to your planet. But the reference being made to star people are simply individuals who are awakening to the fact that you all have connections elsewhere, and if they wake into it very strongly, they may then exhibit some of the strong traits of those connections more than other individuals may, if that is simply not their orientation.
Is it important for them to come to consciousness at this time?
To some degree. May not be completely resolved with aspects of the femininity within you. 2, it can allow some aid and assistance in the blending of the idea of femininity and masculinity even in the present life. 3, it can connect you to certain extraterrestrial connections that may vibrate along that wavelength and allow you the fullness of conscious awakening into your own higher self, as you call it. Through these and many other things, it can also connect you very strongly to what you call the naturehood of your earth.
Will that amplify healing powers?
Yes, it can. Especially if you believe it can. Right. Especially if you prefer to use that particular methodology. However, remember, once you begin to truly integrate, your imagination will kick in and offer you different suggestions that may seem more exciting, more enticing. Follow them, because of the integration that has been created through the utilization of the older tool, and the tool might change. All right.
Right now I'm feeling a strong urge to go to Sedona.
Bye-bye. Have a good time. Follow the urge. It is there for a reason.
Okay. And you're not going to tell us the reason is?
It is a very highly magnetic area, a vortex that connects into all levels of dimensionality to allow you to integrate whatever you choose to get out of it. It's a very strongly conductive magnetic area that can align you.
Okay, just align.
underlying you.
Okay, just align all my...
There may be some specific encounters you will have with different individuals who also live in that area that might represent reflections of different pieces of yourself that you are pulling together as well.
Thank you.
One moment. There's also a very strong connection there for a specific past life idea with regard to being in what you call your Native American culture and your relationship to the earth itself.
Okay. Hopi?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bashar, yes, I'd like to talk with you about an automobile collision I was in about 5 days ago.
All right.
Some things happened during the collision that I have not experienced before.
Such as?
When the collision happened, I realized that it was like the other person came from out of nowhere. It was like they were invisible.
Right.
Like I hadn't seen the girl behind the car. And after I went to get out of my car to go and check on her, as I was standing there with people, I felt like I was invisible. And as I was looking at myself, I felt that I was getting acquainted with my body, that I hadn't seen it before.
In a sense, yes. You are also recreating yourself in it, and you will shift your consciousness up and down the stream, the fabric, the framework of all these probable realities. You will fade in and out of one or another, and allow yourself to realize the true malleability, the focusedness of your consciousness can have. So yes, and if you were fading in and out, and you created an intersection with another aspect, another reflection of your consciousness, to show you that where you focus your concentration along more than one line, three-dimensionally, will create solid reality. Everything else that seems to be invisible to you contains all other reality. 99% of all other reality is invisible to you. Where you focus your concentration is where it solidifies.
Also, at the scene of the accident, we were taken by ambulance to the hospital, and I had the same reaction there where I would be talking to the doctor and the nurse, and I would have the same thing where it's like they didn't see me or I wasn't there. And then for the next few days, basically I felt like I was getting reacquainted with my whole surroundings. I felt real disconnected from the head.
Let me tell you something, all of you. All the probable Earths already exist. Changes that seem to take place in your world are changes because you are shifting into another probable reality, another Earth. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Could you expand a little bit on that?
Every idea of each and every Earth that overlaps every other Earth and exists in a different frequency band is representative of a particular difference in an idea you might have from one idea to another. Let's put it this way very simply. You have the Earth right now you are familiar with. There is another Earth that is identical in every way, shape, and form except, perhaps, you are sitting over there. That one difference is the only difference on that Earth. Then another Earth perhaps has two differences. Then 3, 4, 5, an infinite number for every dimension, for every world. The changes you see in what you think are the one Earth in which you exist is actually you taking yourself up and down the bandwidth of the frequencies of different programs. So, you are now becoming consciously aware that changes in your mind actually change the frequency that you are on and create your focus on another parallel Earth. You are now becoming consciously aware that you actually do automatically make an adjustment to that new Earth. Understand? You are beginning to realize the true malleability of your physical world and beginning to realize that physical reality is a dream. Literally, a dream. And you have to invent it, and do invent it, every moment of time that you create to exist. You are inventing it over and over again so quickly that you have been able to forget you are doing it. You have allowed it to become subconscious. But every moment you experience the ability for your hand, in a sense, to move from here to here, is similar to the analogy you call animation, where there are a million in-between motions, representing a million in-between Earths, in different states of one now eternal moment. The Earth of this now, the Earth of this now, the Earth of this now. We have just gone through millions of Earths, literally. So rapid is the frequency of the creation of reality as you do it. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. And also, one of the things that was amazing to me at the time was that when I was standing outside of the car, I would look at my body. I didn't have any scratches or cuts. Everything seemed perfect. And I would look at my car, and it was total. And I was amazed at how that could be.
It could be if you are not exactly in the same reality, if you are out of phase. Because then that reality of the car, in that sense, the old reality, has nothing to do with the new reality you are. As we said, only when you focus on the three linear dimensions do things become truly solid. So it showed you that, in a sense, a part of the interaction that you had was focused and phased in an old reality, and a part of it in a new reality, wherein, in a sense, the accident did not take place because you showed no result of an accident.
Right, it was like she was really injured, and I was like I wasn't even there.
Yes. You co-created that for each other to learn the things you each respectively needed to learn.
And I never saw her at all. I have no recollection of seeing her appear on the scene.
In a very real sense, she wasn't there until she needed to be. Understand?
Yes, I do.
Many times, many of you will experience this on different levels. Now, sometimes when you are looking for something and you don't see it, in a sense, you can say yes, because you create this to be a part of the idea of the reality you may be in. It could be a quote-unquote trick of the light. You may simply have not been paying attention, and that is why you did not see it. But many times, many of you know, the thing you were looking for was not there. Because there is nowhere else it could have been, because it wasn't behind anything, it simply wasn't there. And then all of a sudden you turn around and there it is. When that really represents a phase shift, it really wasn't there. You simply had loosened your definition of your reality to not contain that, to not need to manifest that. When you really needed to redefine it, you redefined it into your reality. Shifted yourself to that station, and then you could perceive it. It is similar to what you call, again, the radio or television analogy in your society. You know all the programs are all there all at once. The only one you perceive is the one your dial is tuned to, however. But they are all there. Understand?
Yeah.
What is invisible to you is simply at that moment not of your frequency. Plain and simple.
Right. Okay. And just one other thing.
Yes. Did it go to another frequency?
I guess so.
Turn the dial back. Click, click, click. Click.
Something about it, the scene of the accident.
Yes. Yes.
I can't remember. This isn't what I was going to say, but this is before what I was going to say.
All right.
Driving, I know it's expensive.
Yes.
Driving just about to where we crashed, I kind of felt like I was floating like through a cloud in a sense.
Yes.
I remember that feeling, and I was kind of denying it, but it was there.
Yes.
That was happening.
Yes.
And
You are actually physicalizing the experience of quote-unquote tunneling through the different frequencies interdimensionally. That limbo state, that floating state, is an indication of unlocking from one reality so that you can observe all the probable ways the realities can manifest, and then choose the one that is most representative of the vibration you are in the limbo state. That's why many of you now in this transformational age are undergoing the idea of confusion, disorientation, disillusionment. It is why many of you feel like you're floating in a limbo, undecided state. Because you are unlocking from your previous reality, your previous concept, and you are floating in that in-between stage that allows you to see the spectrum of all the probable realities you can choose, and then choose one.
It was also, now I remember what I wanted to say, it was right at the time that we collided that I hit my head.
Yes.
Also, and then right after I hit my head, it was like I was separate from the body that I was walking around in.
Yes.
Or like I was new to the body.
Yes.
That's when that occurred.
You created a little bit of an ascension into yourself. You upgraded your energy, in a sense.
I haven't felt, especially at the whole thing, I didn't
Yes.
feel any emotion.
In a very real way, the old you actually died. And you are a new beginning. The you are now. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Like you!
For sure.
You. Decide among yourselves. Thank you! Boldness.
About 12 or 14 years ago, we were traveling in Baja in a spaceship full of quite a few rowers, I'd say about 500 feet above us. And finally we had to stop, and we got out, and we all laid down and went to sleep, right on the, I mean, it was like instantaneous, right on the dirt. What happened?
Many of you, in having the communications you desire to have, as a result of the agreements you have made, will, in that sense, need to become unconscious to allow the communication to take place on all the levels that it needs to. Because many of your presuppositions in your conscious mind will, in your terms, get in the way. You can be assisted in remembering, if you wish, by choosing individuals who can, in your terms, regress you. It will come out bit by bit at whatever rate you are comfortable in letting it out. But it is, I will remind you, part and parcel of many similar ideas that are going on all over your world at this time, because it is an opportunity to blend and integrate and balance the old negative fears within you, transform them into joy and ecstasy and equality. That is the basic, as you say, once again, bottom line.
Okay, I've been experiencing all these changes and discussing for quite a while now.
Yes.
And I keep thinking, what am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be going?
What excites you the most? All right.
Keep
it simple. Keep it simple.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your participation.
Sure.
You.
I'd like to have you explain to me what happened to my left leg here about 17 years ago. It's kind of slow moving.
Did you, in your terminology, have it medically analyzed?
I did.
And?
They told me 3 different squeezes and most I couldn't believe that.
All right.
And then they told me that due to an accident I had thrown out of a car, and that possibly could be that chiropractic work on it.
All right.
And it seems to be getting a little bit better, but I want to get better faster.
All right. You are, as we have already suggested, made of energy. The exercise that we have already given you can be of some assistance to you.
I felt that when you were saying.
Yes. Let yourself dive deeply into that energy state and redefine yourself completely as an electrical matrix. Sometimes what you call fluoride crystals can aid and accelerate this idea, especially with regard to the neuronic pathways and neural links in your body. It is simply conducive to the specific vibration of the neural sheaths that protect and balance and nurture your nervous system and can promote an accelerated healing within it.
Regeneration sheath?
Yes. The idea also can be to allow yourself to envision in any particular area a concentration of the liquid blue in a jelly-like form. See it infused into the leg and becoming the material out of which new crystals of all types, bone, skin, muscle, nerve, will form out of this homogeneous blue jelly. Let it regrow, become flexible, new, from inside out. Inside out. All reality is created from inside out, not outside in. That can be of some assistance to you.
That I will do. Could you tell me when I'm going to be moving? I'm going to sell my house.
That's up to you.
Okay. Thank you much.
Ask yourself if you really, really, really want to sell the house and why. And you will understand your reasons for doing what you are doing, and you will understand what you will attract. Sometimes things that do not seem to happen may be also because you may be holding yourself back from doing something that will actually initiate what needs to be done. Are you hesitant in any way, shape, or form about selling the house?
Not really, no.
What will you do when you sell it?
Whatever comes in my path to be able to do, I'll do it.
What do you want to do?
Sell it.
Why?
Because they're moving up north to Washington State or Canada.
All right. Why?
So that people are doing a better life for us.
All right. Are you truly, in your terms, acting like you are moving?
Yes.
All of you?
Yes.
All right. Then move. Do you need to wait?
No.
Then don't. Perhaps you are only creating an illusion of attachment to something you do not need to be attached to. Perhaps you think it is holding you back, and it isn't. And perhaps that's why, in your terms, it's not selling. Perhaps if you simply act upon what you know with your intuition is what you're all about, you will then have made a statement that you do not need that symbol, and it will sell. Well, thank you.
Sure.
You.
Bashar, I have, I went to,
Speak up.
What was that thing we went to do?
No. That's lower.
I'm
Speak
sorry.
louder.
I'm sorry.
Well, love you, sorry. No, speak up.
I went to your self-empowerment workshop,
Okay.
and when I went to my place of perfect peace,
Okay.
the first place I was in, there was a man there, and then there was a bird.
Okay.
I know the person. It's a person that's in my physical life right now.
All right.
I have subsequently had dreams about this person and me.
All right.
Another time, it was also a birth, and he was there.
Okay.
And the last time, everybody was congratulating us because we were going to get married, and I was pregnant.
All right.
I'd like to know the significance of this person. Okay, could you tell me more about this person?
You have had many lives together. You are part, all of you, and many others that you know, of one particular type of family. And you have interacted and shared and interchanged many different roles at many different times. Remember that the whole idea now that many of you are understanding upon your planet is that you are all married to each other. You don't have to think of the idea of relationships in that sense as being mutually exclusive of each other, but in fact they are mutually enhancing. Understand?
I do understand that. I feel something.
You are in the middle of a process we cannot fully interrupt. There is not a lot of information we can share, because you are right at the point of unraveling, or unwrapping, if you will, a present.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I didn't think I was going to ask the question, because I didn't think I was going to do it. I didn't think I was ready.
That is an answer.
Yes.
The answer is that you are doing just fine.
Yes.
Trust it.
Yes.
You are getting the messages in the way that you need to get them. And you, by essence, by feeling, in a sense, know their significance. You are very familiar with each other. Yeah, so enjoy.
And also, we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier, if there's something that I can do that can, a step that I can make or something to physically get into somehow interrelating my psychic abilities with my engineering abilities, I have a little conflict there because one is of such a physical nature and the other one is of such a personal nature.
Psychic abilities are of, in a sense, a physical nature too, except that your science does not define it as so. Simply your science chooses to measure the idea of psychic functioning by yardsticks that have no business being used to measure it. As we have already said, everything is vibration, and when your scientists begin to understand that consciousness needs to be included in their equations, they will understand how to prove what they seem to be unable to prove now with regard to the idea of psychic functioning. They are simply not allowing themselves to, quote-unquote, test the ability within the framework that will give it the best opportunity to show them that it exists. They are attempting to measure it along frameworks that have nothing to do with that particular phenomenon. If you start once again to understand that it is more closely connected to the emotional aspect of you and uses energy in that way, then it will be seen to cause very strong fluctuations in the electromagnetic field and can be picked up and can be repeated as many times as they care to, but they must test it in the laboratory in which it belongs, which is the laboratory of spontaneous life, not the sterilized idea of absolutely structured experiment, because it is an emotionally based, emotionally activated presence. It can be blended with the idea of many aspects of your science. But the idea is, first and foremost, consciousness must be allowed to be a part of the equation. Otherwise, there is no blending. It must be understood that what scientists think is pragmatic electricity, solid material, is simply expressions of consciousness. Plain and simple. So, you can blend them, and because you have the idea that you desire to blend them, then in a sense already within you they are blended. All you have to do is express it in whatever way seems to occur to your imagination most fluidly and most excitingly. And you can, let us say, invent your own definitional parameters by which both can be measured. But you see, the idea of dragging someone into a sterile laboratory and hooking them up to many machines and saying, all right, now function psychically, is quite analogous to dragging them into a sterile laboratory surrounded by a bunch of people they do not know, do not relate to, have no feelings for in that sense, hooking them up to machines and saying, all right, on the count of 3, fall in love with me. Oh, you did not do it. Therefore, scratch love, it doesn't exist. You see? They will get more than enough repeatability if they will observe the manifestation of psychic functioning within its natural laboratory, life. Because there are many rules to psychic functioning. Primary is, it always will take the path of least resistance, just like electricity. So in other words, if somebody says, hey, what did I have for breakfast today? Well, in the overall event, that person already knows the answer. So why should psychic ability even begin to function when the path of least resistance has already been fulfilled? The answer is known by the person asking the question. That knowledge, in and of itself, can short-circuit the ability of anyone who chooses to function psychically from discovering the answer. Unless, rule number 2, they have an overwhelming desire or need to know. That must also be present. So if someone asks you a question, and you cannot function psychically for them, that does not mean that psychic functioning does not exist. It simply may mean that you're not interested in finding out who's going to do what on the such and such date of such and such month. You don't care. So you do not have the overwhelming desire or need to tap into that flow of energy to see what the most likely probable reality is. And remember, there is no such thing as a prediction of the future. Any such prediction is a sensing that is made of the energy that is most likely to manifest at the time the prediction is made. An awareness of that prediction can change the energy. Out goes the prediction. It becomes obsolete. Just like that. And that's the third rule. Understand? So there are laws, quote unquote, that can be very scientifically listed and labeled and oriented. But simply that is those laws that must be used to see the repeatability and provability that they desire to see. You have to use the measuring stick that is relative to the thing you are measuring. So, enjoy your exploration.
Thank you.
Oh, you. And then you.
Me or her?
Yes, you.
Thank you. I'd like to pursue our previous conversation a little bit further regarding...
A little bit?
Yes. Regarding using electromagnetic fields to get better in contact with the physical consciousness.
Pulsing them at the Earth vibration of 7 1/2 cycles per second can aid and assist in bodily alignment.
Yes. Are there any other frequencies?
10.
Cycles?
Yes. 7. 3. These will put you into the various contacts with different levels of your collective consciousness.
Is there no accident that those numbers correspond to common brainwave frequencies?
No accident.
Okay.
Alpha, theta,
Right.
delta. That's the whole idea.
For instance, 1 delta might be fairly specific.
Approximately 3
Okay.
is delta. 1, and in a sense, you are approaching death.
Oh, okay.
Deep delta invokes what you call astral projection.
Okay. I was actually, when I asked the question, I was thinking also in terms of power frequencies. Specifically, 27 kilocycles. Does that have a particular effect?
23 to 27 can put you in touch with the vibrational frequency of all synchronicity standing waves, so that your life literally can become an ecstatic explosion of sequential events, seen coincidentally to tie in and connect to everything you are doing in life. 23 to 27. Instant synchronicity, instant recognition. In that sense, yes, it can be. Of course, it will still depend upon the belief systems that are inherent within you. It will not overwhelm those.
Yes. Any others you care to share at this time?
33, the transformational frequency that can shift you through gates of dimensionality. That is a very strong one. Very strong. That will do for now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes. In what way do you imagine that you are not completely well?
I'm a cancer patient.
All right. What are you learning about that? About having created that idea. What are you learning about yourself?
A lot of things.
All right. Are you willing to integrate them within you and understand that you have created this idea for a reason? Or do you feel like a victim?
I think I feel both ways.
One way or the other. When you feel one, you are that reality. When you feel another way, you are that reality. You are not both at the same time.
Well, I don't feel that I caused my own cancer. I never wanted to be sick.
I understand that it may not be a conscious realization, and we are not saying that when you choose your reality, you expressly actually say, I want cancer. But the idea can come from many different source beliefs within you. Denials of certain other things or desires for certain other things may bring about, once again, as we have said, an effect that represents the path of least resistance in discovering the things you want to learn. Now, if you have been brought up to think of the idea of disease as one way to do that, then you may simply create it, even though that's not your absolutely conscious intention. But for some reason, in some way, from some direction, you must understand that you have created it, because no one else can.
So it could be a subconscious thing.
Oh, yes. Absolutely, and very often it is. Because you all know, none of you directly, or at least not very many of you, consciously want disease.
And what sort of lessons do we learn from putting ourselves through suffering?
Perhaps the simplest lesson of all, that you no longer have to suffer anymore. Simply because you don't prefer it. Sometimes many of you will create disease because you will not allow yourself any other way of learning that you don't have to suffer. Because you will then compound the idea to such an extreme that it scares you. And sometimes fright is the only way you will allow yourself to live in the moment. If you will not allow yourself to live in the moment through joy and ecstasy, then you will be very clever and polarize yourself so that you will force yourself to live in the moment through fear. Now, if you understand that that may be one of the reasons, then you can let go of the mechanism you are using a little bit more. If you acknowledge, first of all, that there must be a reason, then you can begin to explore what those reasons are. Remember, you cannot transform what you do not own. So even if it was created by a subconscious or unconscious belief, it's still a part of you. You have to acknowledge it. If you really want to be able to change it, you have to know you were in control of it to begin with, even if you didn't know it. The only way you can control anything is by knowing you are always in control of it. We are already discussing some of these ideas. But you can illuminate the situation a little bit further by expressly coming up with some of the specific things you have learned about yourself by having that disease. What have you learned?
Many things.
How has it changed your life? What has it allowed you to see that you may not have seen had you not created the disease?
It's made me a lot closer to people.
All right.
It's made me a lot more happy with who I am.
Has it allowed you to truly learn to live in the moment?
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you understand that these are reason enough, then you can say, all right, step one, I acknowledge that I created it, perhaps for the very reason of discovering these things. Now that I know that that may be why I created it, I now acknowledge that I will be able to understand these things without the need of a negative symbol. I will now be willing to explore these things and live in the moment and discover all that I need to discover in a positive way. I no longer need to force myself to face these things. I am now willing, of my own free will, to be ready to face anything that will come up within me. I will not continue to judge myself or others. I will learn that I am one with all. I will choose a life of ecstasy. I will choose to believe there is absolutely nothing I could ever discover about myself that cannot be applied in a positive way. Therefore, if there is nothing about myself that I fear, I do not need to be forced to face these aspects of myself. Of my own volition I will face them, so I don't need the dis-ease to force me to face them. And when you make that acknowledgement and begin to act accordingly, you can begin to release the disease. Plain and simple. Do you believe it?
Yeah.
Can it be that simple for you? Can you feel the energy, the temperature change within you when you consider the ideas we have shared? Then allow yourself to understand that that temperature change is indicative of a frequency change. And a frequency change is indicative of a reality change. And therefore you are changing. as quickly or as slowly as you care to. It is up to you. Now, perhaps also, if there is something in your life that excites you that you are not doing, by doing it, you will align with your centered vibration, which by definition cannot contain disease. The more willing you are to allow energy to flow through you in a way that represents who you are at your highest level of vibrational energy, then no energy can stick around in you, block up and bottle up within you, and create the idea of disharmony, discordance, dis-ease. Are you doing in your life the things that excite you the most? No. Then do them. And you will heal yourself by being fully who you are. Remember, like pain, all dis-ease comes from resistance. Dis-ease is resistance to your own ecstasy. Don't fight it. Be who you are and let the energy flow. Then it won't block up and become stagnant. Understand? Does that assist you? Live with a full boldness of life, and you will not create the symbols of death. Plain and simple. It will make a difference. And there are energies in your dream realities, guides and assistants, that also will send you their unconditional love. Unconditional love. Treat yourself with the same respect. You deserve ecstasy. Why? Because you say so. May I ask you a question? Oh, thank you very much. Did you have to do anything special in order to deserve to exist, or do you simply exist? All right. Guilt can eat away at you like cancer. Cancer can be symbolic of guilt, self-invalidation. If you invalidate yourself, you start to cancer yourself out. What should you be guilty of? All right then. Do not create the idea of guilt. Love. You deserve it. Why not? Once again, did you have to do anything special to deserve to exist, or do you exist? You know you just exist, don't you? Then why not take it for granted that if the infinite creation believes you deserve existence, you can treat yourself with the same degree of unconditional respect and love? You don't have to do anything special to deserve to exist in the way you wish to. And you don't have to create guilt. Do you know what? Many of you think that hate is the opposite of love. It isn't. It's a polarity expression. But guilt is the true opposite of love. Because love is absolute deservability, worthiness, validity, equality. Guilt is the lack of all those things. Hate still implies some deservability somewhere. Understand? So guilt is the exact opposite of love. And if you have cut yourself off, in that sense, from the love prime vibration of creation, you start to disintegrate. That's what cancer is. You are always deserving of the flow of infinite creation. The way you plug yourself back in, not that you ever really truly unplug yourself, but you can think that you have and create that illusion. Because you are an eternal being, you are infinite. And no matter in what way, shape, or form you choose to exist, you will always exist because you exist now. No one ever really dies. You just change form. So first and foremost, back off the idea that physical life is the only expression of life there is. If you exist now, you always will, and you always have, because existence is eternal now. But allow yourself to dissolve the illusion that you are not connected to infinite creation. Know you deserve all the love you can imagine. Infinite creation thinks you do, or it wouldn't have created you. Plug yourself back into that source, and you will find that energy flowing through you, and if you use it to do what excites you the most, you will then be flowing and sparkling like a solid crystalline gem. And when you are that centered and that representative of living life, no dis-ease can exist within you. It is not possible. Does that assist you? Exciting dream life and life dream to you. Remember, life is a dream. And once again, you cannot change what you do not own. So own it all, because you do own it all. All of it. All of it. All of it. And when you allow everything, the positive and the negative, to be equal, then not any one has any more power than the other. They're all on the same level. And then that means it's easy to choose which one you prefer, because you're not reaching beyond your reach to get it. You don't have to pull something up from the depth. It's all equal, all neutral. Remember this, all of you. All situations and all circumstances are fundamentally neutral, empty, blank, devoid of meaning. Nothing means anything. You supply the meaning based upon what you have been taught to believe it means. The meaning you supply to a neutral circumstance utterly determines the effect you get out of it. Action, reaction. Positive meaning in, positive effect out. Negative meaning in, negative effect out. Simple mechanics. So do not automatically assign a negative meaning just because your society teaches you to say, oh, I have cancer, that's bad. For you, it isn't. Because you decide what it means. Because you created it, because you own it. Yes, thank you for your suggestion of your definition that you think it's negative. I choose to believe it is there for a positive reason, because I choose to believe I am a positive being. Therefore, all situations will have a positive effect on my life. And the quicker I realize that, you may say to yourself, the quicker I can dispense with the original symbol I created to show me, to bring me the opportunity to realize what I am realizing. Is this sinking in? You know what else? I love you. Thank you for being bold and strong enough to know you are strong enough to create that symbol for yourself to work with. For anyone who chooses that type of a symbol is doing it out of strength, not out of weakness, because you know it's going to drive you very far, very fast. And that means you know you're strong enough to do it. Understand? So focus on the strength, not the weakness, because you created it out of your power, not out of your lack of it. This timing, allow us once again to extend to each and every one of you, individually and collectively, our utmost appreciation in allowing us to experience the unique facets of the multidimensional crystal of all that is that each and every one of you are. Shine like the gem